Hey guys, I'm Jase at Jase Outdoors, and I just thought I would do a quick video. I've been getting a lot of questions on the series that I did on calling turkeys using a mouth call, which I really appreciate it. I do the best I can to answer everybody's questions. So I just thought I would, just make a quick video, and I just kind of like, reword things, use different terminology, just because sometimes I know when I was learning and I would, ask how to make a sound or do something and it didn't make sense to me, but somebody would just kind of say it a different way and it's like, oh, okay, I think I understand that better. So typically a 2-reed call is a good one to start out on. I use a three-reed batwing cut. It's been one of my favorite, and I'm still playing with it. I'm still trying to find what works best for me. Because I'm by no means a professional at this. I hunt with guys who are Grand National Champion turkey callers, and I'm typically afraid to put a call in my mouth around them. So this is this is really just to help get you going, just starting off to make the yelps and whatnot. But so once you have a call, if you've had that in your mouth, trying to blow on it, and you let it sit overnight or even a couple days, and you go to call on it again, the first thing that you really want to take note is your reeds. You got to make sure their reeds are separated. If they're not separated, it's not going to sound good. You're going to get discouraged even quicker because you're like, I can't make the sounds, but it's mostly because your reeds are stuck together. The best way to do that, if you can't just pull your finger like that and they don't come apart, don't pull on them, but use your tongue. Just kind of stick your tongue in between there just to separate them. A lot of times just get it in your mouth and put it to the roof of your mouth and just give a good blow on it sometimes will separate them that way also. So just to kind of recap some of my other videos, when you put this in your mouth, if this is your tongue, you want to set it back your tongue just a little bit. The tip of your tongue does not go on those reeds. You'll probably know that pretty quick if you're starting out and you do that. It'll tickle your tongue really bad. So, and then you're going to just kind of push that to the roof of your mouth. When you do that, you're going to fill your lungs up with air and kind of hold it. This is always hard to explain for me. So just kind of hold it, and then just leave bursts out. You can think of it maybe like hissing like a cat. Like just short, quick little bursts of air. You're not blowing the air out your mouth. It's not, it's just kind of like, I always think of it like blowing through your teeth. It's like I said, it's really hard to explain, put it in words. When you're first starting out, don't worry about trying to yelp. Just worry about getting a sound. Just start working on the sound. You want to be able to get to the point where you can kind of make a clean whistle, because that is just kind of controlling the airflow so much better, so that when you drop your tongue, it should come into a rasp. So you can hear, it's like a nice clean whistle, and then as I drop my tongue, that you'll hear that rasp kick in. You can kind of see my jaw dropping a little bit. Let's just bring the call down off the roof of my mouth. Again, the air is coming through here. You're blowing from here. It's just not, it's kind of push with your stomach almost. So eventually, just start making sounds when you can figure out how to, make a clean note, and then you can grab that rasp into it. You'll kind of get the concept of what you need to do to blow on the turkey call, and it's just going to come to you. And I'm telling you, it just takes practice. Like you just have to do it over and over and over. Move the call around in your mouth, push on it harder, softer, just take note of the sound that you make when you do those certain things, and you'll figure it out. Again, everybody's palate is different, so it's hard to say that this technique's going to work for everybody. But just keep practicing, and it'll eventually come to you. So then you can kind of go from there to different kind of yelps. You can have them clean, like a high-end yelp, clean yelp. And then you can, bring in the rasp. So you start off clean and bring in the rasp, which is typically the way I like to do it. Also, I should just point out real fast too, if you're relatively new, to make sure that if you have any cuts, or the shorter reed is always going to go on top. So make sure you're not blowing it upside down, because that's not going to help you either. So then getting into the cutting and all the other fancy stuff, the bells and whistles as I call it, the pickups and bubble clucks, and there's all kinds of little sounds that turkeys make. Certainly getting a lot harder to control. I mean, I would really just focus on your yelping. But any part of the yelping that I'd focus on the most is being able to yelp very softly. I think that one's one of the most important things to do. I mean, yeah, you're going to be loud at first, and when you're trying to locate a turkey, you want to be loud, it's fine. But when you start working that turkey, especially when you can see them, you want to be able to just tone that yelp down. One thing to keep in mind too with your yelps, they're very sharp. Like a yelp is just one note, and then it doesn't just like run into each other. You really have to pay attention to it, maybe to understand what I'm saying there. See if I can show you the difference. Like there, the yelps are just kind of just running into each other, as opposed to I like to use my lips to just cut off that air. So it's sharp yelps. So keep that in mind when you're doing the soft yelps. It seems to get a little harder to make them sharp because you're not pushing so much air through. But work on being able to call softly. I think a lot of guys, that's the biggest problem they have, is just they keep blaring at them even though that turkey's not that far away. And if you listen to a hen, like really listen to a hen when they're close, and those little whistles and those little tiny yelps they do when they're just feeding or whatever, like turkeys can hear that. So you don't have to be loud, especially when he's gobbling at you. You don't have to be loud all the time. So just practice on lowering your volume, which it's harder than it sounds. So again, you just got to keep practicing. Cuts, those little whistles, whines. Cut is kind of the same way. Just kind of fill your lungs with air, and it's just quick bursts of air that you're just leaving out. I like to use my hand over on my mouth just to kind of throw the sound. You know, depending on which way that turkey's coming, I like to try to draw them a certain way. I'm typically filming our hunts. You know, we'll have the decoys set out, not necessarily right in front of us. So if, you know, a turkey's over here, but I want him to get out in front of it, I'm gonna call this way, put my hand this way to kind of throw the sound that way. So he has to come out across in front of us to give us plenty of footage. I don't want to be blowing this way and he, you know, gets to us before we're set up. Because typically when we set up with the camera, we're, you know, at the decoys is where we want them. So I've had it happen already where, you know, we called them past the hunter and they came to the guy who was calling and it didn't work out. So I like to use my hand to just kind of throw the sound a little bit and even to just quiet it. So, you know, working on those soft yelps, you can kind of cover your mouth, almost make it go backwards so it sounds a lot quieter that way also. Of course, there's a lot of, you know, strategy and techniques, you know, hunting turkeys other than just calling. But I just wanted to focus a little bit on the calling for you guys that are just starting out, and I was getting a lot of questions on, you know, working the call, so I just thought I would try to help, you know, improve your skills just a little bit. So if you have any more questions, again, it's hard to kind of put it in words, explaining to call. So I'll do my best to respond to all your questions, and let me know if this is helpful at all. Please, I'd love to hear. I had a few comments saying they, you know, weren't able to make a sound until they watched my one video, and then they started getting it going. And I mean, this is why I'm doing. I'm here to help you, and I just think we can all benefit, you know, to learn from each other and you know, just enjoy the outdoors that I love so much. And you know, I love getting new people in the woods, and especially kids. I think there's nothing better. So, you know, if you can ever, you know, take a kid out turkey hunting or something, it's just it's a fun way to get out in the woods and you know, maybe shoot something. So it's please just let me know if this is helpful, and it kind of inspires me to do more of these. So again, I'm not a professional. I'm not, you know, trying to be. I just we kill a lot of turkeys every year, and you know, calling is definitely a big part of that. So I'm just trying to help in any way I can. So it's just nice to know when it's working. I really appreciate you guys watching.